Hello and welcome back. We're just going to follow this IVAT with these coaches around the railway for a moment. And as we come around the far side, you'll see the work I've done on the turntable over the last week. So looking great, just dropping past the back end of the station there. Let's see if we can get a nice shot as she emerges around the back of the signal box here. That's breakdown crane in the foreground there. Now I have got the Hornby Dublo breakdown crane restrung, and I got it on the railway today with something suitably heavy to pull it around the tracks with. Let's just follow that around, and then we should get a nice view of the work carried out with the turntable. And you can see I've got the Kobo sitting in the sidings there, all ready to drag that big Hornby Dublo crane around the railway. So I'm just going to race for the controllers now and see if we can bring this to a stop just before number 5. There we go. So I think if we switch number 5, so I'm looking down and trying to hold the camera pointed in the right direction as well. See if we can see that from above. That's number 5. I think 7 also needs to be switched. There we go. Again, I've got the camera zoomed in quite a way again today, just so we can get slightly tighter shots. If you've noticed, I've turned this catenary mast around. It's one of the 2 places the Hornby Dublo crane doesn't like. The winding handles clip the back of this, so since we're not using the overhead today, and there's no real tension in this wire here, I've just decided to swing that out of the way. So let's see if we can bring the IVAT through the point work now. So we'll just roll her in behind the LNER coaches and the Flying Scotsman there, so if we can stop that before we run into them. I think that's probably it, so I'm going to just close the points before we have any further accidents for now. So we'll just pan back around for those. And I think for now we'll probably just shut number 5 and 7. And let's just pan around and have a look at the point work here. So I think I was getting waylaid and putting another siding in running around here, which coming off this line, which we'll see in a moment. I'm just going to widen the camera a bit so we have a better view of what's going on there. So I think this point had got in, but I hadn't run anything from it because I got tied up with what was happening with that line there, and I haven't managed to draw it on my diagram really yet. So whilst I've got point motors in here, there's still the wiring to drop through, and the curved point has turned out to be pretty good. So that was quite pleasing that works. So we've got all that running around there. So we've got the turntable wired up, so we'll be able to see a bit of running with that. And I've got an old tin plate coach there. I think that's a maroon Suburban brake. I don't know the numbers of these Hornby Dublo models. We've got the breakdown crane. We can see it's got a fresh string, and that works. We'll have a look at that a little later. And we've got a bogie bolster and a cable drum wagon, all old Hornby Dublo models. I'm thinking late 50s, early 60s perhaps. And then we've got the great Kobo, which we saw in an earlier video. This one is in one of those slightly rebranded boxes when Trying took over Hornby Dublo and became Trying Hornby. So I've got these lines in running off the turntable. I've got some of these old buffers. I had some broken ones, and I've cut the back ends off them. And I think I've got one buffer over here, which is an old Trying Hornby or Hornby Railways one. Slightly earlier design. So let's just swing around and have a look. So I've got another one of those older style buffers there, and there's that rebranded box. Let's have a swift look at that. So I think that's Old Hornby Dublo 2 rail box. Seems to be a date or a price on it there. And that's model number 2233. I think when it appeared in the Trying Hornby catalogue, they just put an R on the front of it, and they stuck this sticker over Hornby Dublo's name. It's a cheap way of repackaging the excess stock they were trying to shift. That's a packing ring rolling around inside the box one-handed. I don't think we can see. There's not a great deal to see in there. There's no paperwork with this model. I can't get my fingernail underneath that flap, I don't think. There we go. So a couple of packing rings in there. A little bit of sellotape all over the box. So I think let's give the turntable a bit of a go. But first, let's open up the power. So I think we need point number 3, which is electrified, and then what I'm thinking might turn out to be 3A needs to be opened. 3B is already as it should be, perhaps. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to end up numbering these things. I've pinched the power from the overhead line at the moment to power the controller. So let's just give it a little power and see how we do with it. So it is still just sort of running in, as they say. It's not all as it should be. So there we go. Let's give the locomotive a bit of power now. Let's see if we can get it to roll up onto the turntable. So I'm actually using the controller with it behind me at the moment. So let's see if we can rotate it back again. So remembering which way to turn the switch. Obviously got it the wrong way, so let's have another go. Let's look from slightly further above. We'll take the opportunity. A lot of weight there with that model, so let's just run her out through the points and see how we're going to do with that. So again, excuse me if I'm going to turn this controller the wrong way. Picking up quite a bit of momentum there as she rolls off the points. Now, let's switch the point here. Let's see if we can roll back and collect those wagons. So I think I'm going to switch that one. So let's see if we can gently hook up with those. Bit crashy over the points. Well, I've come into the wrong siding. Told you I'd have trouble seeing which way these points go. Never mind, at least we know that one sort of works, even if it is a little on the bumpy side. Let's roll back out again. So, we'll get that one. Second try. Let's see if we can couple these up a little. Fairly abrupt coupling. I think we probably got it. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, it sort of looks convincing, doesn't it? See how that crane works around the curve in the track there. Very clever design, I think, when they came up with those. Let's give that a little power and see if we can bring that out through the points. I think we've got a slight derailment there of some description. I could hear something bounce a little over the tracks. Not surprising really, I suppose. I think I've spotted it. I think it's this match truck here. I think that one's just leapt off the rails. So dare we roll it backwards and see if they'll go back in though. What do you reckon? We should give that a go. Maybe asking too much of it all. It's a lot pushing back on all of those couplings. Not too bad. So let's see if we can move out a bit smoother this time and see if she does okay. Yeah, I think that was more successful. So it's not unsurprising really that you're going to get the occasional jump in the rails with models of this age on this style of track. I'm not entirely sure they were meant for each other. Let's see if we can close number 3. There we go. So theoretically we should be able to roll all the way around the inside line now. Let me zoom in a little. Let's see if we can just have a slightly tighter frame as we go around. Let's give it some power now. Just stop that there for a moment. It's a nice little sort of ring coming from the bodywork of this very heavy metal Hornby Dublo train. You can hear it when I tap my fingernail on it. But they really are quite a lovely group of models, aren't they? We'll just have a swift look over these wagons. We won't go too much into the crane because we saw it in quite a lot of detail a couple of videos back. I'll leave a link to that if you want to see the crane a little more closely up than this. But I thought it would be great to look at this really, what can be best described as a cute catalogue from Hornby Dublo. I think this is 1963. There isn't a date on it, but from what I read online, this appears to be the 1963 catalogue. I think with the exception of the brake coach as an illustration of each of these models within it. So let's just have a look through it because it's quite quick to look through, and it's just such a lovely thing. Lovely chassis there. It's a great big motor. So just leaf through it relatively quickly. The old electric there. The Triumph Hornby went on to develop that model a little further, I think. And there is the Kobo. So we've got it available as 2-rail and 3-rail there. Two slightly different model numbers. But, really great illustrations. Wonder how long it took to prepare a catalogue like this. And there we have the bogie bolster wagon. I'm not sure of the exact dates of when these models ran, but they were definitely available in '63 in this catalogue. So that's number 4610 bogie bolster wagon. Great looking wagon, loads of detail on it. And we've got the cable drum wagon here or it's called a low-sided wagon with 2 cable drums, and that's number 4646. They are slightly different drums, aren't they? But great illustrations. I love this track running across the lower half of the page. I think it really is quite a lovely thing. These were lovely, aren't they, with the horse boxes? I don't have one of those. I don't have very much Hornby Dublo, and what I do have is in relatively poor condition. And there's this lovely price list as well here. Let's see how much the Kobo was. So let's see if we can get a little closer to that. So we've got Kobo diesel electric locomotive. So I'm just trying to trace that across. Is it £4 and 6 shillings? I think that's what that said. I might be mistaken. So quite a substantial price, and it says here prices include purchase tax where applicable. So I don't know what purchase tax was here in the UK back in 1963. So we'll just have a swift look through there. Now I think the coach I have isn't illustrated, but it's one of these that says not illustrated. So there's a Suburban, and I've got the Suburban brake on the railway at the moment, not illustrated. Where are we? There we go. So that will be number 4084 Suburban coach brake. And there we have the wonderful breakdown crane here, numbered 4620. The operating Royal Mail set there. I do have a 3-rail variation of that, sorry. These terrific buildings. Great tunnels, double track and single track. Lovely crane with a good shed there. Great little items here. Look at this lighting kit as well. The old terminus station here could be made up as a through station too. Lovely items. All these little figures. It'd be nice to have those. And the horse with the horse box. It looks like a short wheelbase Land Rover there. Great collection of signals. And then we've got the 2 different track systems there. But, could have been their undoing, I think, producing the 2 track systems. And I love this little item here. We can join 2 of the switches together, this little rubberized thing. So we could throw perhaps an isolating section and a point switch or a colour light signal. I can never remember which way around the Hornby Dublo switches are. We should have a read here. So 1613 for operating points and signals. 1616, which is the black one, operating isolating rails. So that's a point and an isolating rail, isn't it? The red and the green together. Sorry, no. The green is for operating colour light signal. So operating an electric point and a light signal. Confused, you can tell. And this lovely 3-rail track. I do have a quantity of this at some point. When this baseboard is clear again, we will get that down. And there's that lovely back cover there. I always thought this looked quite interesting. I've never seen any of this for real, these elevated sections, these sidewalls, and all of these different piers. Quite a lovely thing. Let's have a swift look over a couple of the models. So we've got the cable drum wagon, and Triangle Hornby did one of these, or Triangle Railways. And these are got little threads on here holding them onto the base. So I believe this was available over quite a number of years. I'm not quite sure of the dating on this. I find the dating of these models quite difficult. I do have quite a large book, the companion book for the Hornby Dublo collector, I think it's called, or words to that effect. Loads of information in it, but sometimes quite hard to extract the information from it. But really lovely things. I think this is just wooden. This is just wood with a paper stuck to the outside of it. Quite a lovely thing. So we'll just pop that down. As I say, all of these are in fairly played with condition. Lovely bogie bolster wagon here, very, very heavy. Got that lovely numbering and detailing along the side. Perhaps a slightly later model with the plastic style couplings on it. So you can't get over the weight. There's a number on there. I'm not quite sure what that relates to. It's a paper label. So there's Hornby Dublo's name on the bottom. Meccano Limited. And all of these ones have the plastic wheels for 2-rail running, otherwise we'd be shorting out, and they're really strong. The Triang models with these pins on the bolster wagons, they're really weak and feeble, and they're always missing. There's no way those are coming out of there in a hurry. Let's just pop that down. Don't know whether we've got that on the rail, but I think we'll call that close enough. And this lovely tin plate coach. I think earlier variants of these didn't have glazing, they just had the window silvery effect printed on the windows with a half tone in the corner to give some sort of shadow detail. Lovely thing. And again, quite heavy. Again, this one designed for 2-rail running with the plastic type wheels on it. It does have a metal style coupling. There, that effect there on the windows was right down the side. I do have one somewhere. It's in quite poor condition. The rust has got to it a little bit, but still it's quite nice to have these things. It is just such a lovely thing. I don't think we've got seating detail in there. No, there isn't. I'm not sure whether they ever did have the detail in the seats, so we'll just pop that down. I'll try and hook it onto the track. Perhaps just take it away a little bit. And there's the crane. As I said, we're not going to go wild with the crane because we had quite a look over this model just a few videos ago. So if I wind this handle a little bit, I see that's going up. There we go. And then the hook's going down. And we'll wind that back up again. It's quite a reassuring action, the handle on this. And then we can raise and lower the jib. So it's all fairly good stuff, isn't it? So we'll just lower that on there. I think we just need a little bit of help there with the hook. I think we need again a bit of a mess there. I think we need to just unwind the hook a little bit, take the tension out of it. That was causing us the problem. But it really is such a beautiful thing. And as we've seen in the pictures just a little earlier, these sort of outriggers or jacks on the side really are quite nice. I've just reset some of the points and we'll have a go at the incline with this group of quite heavy models. So we'll just drag those through to there, and then we've got to switch number 4 to avoid any unnecessary accidents or stops as we move along. So let's see how she climbs with this load of quite comparatively heavy models. So there is traction tyres on the Kobo as we've seen, so that's going to be a good help, and all that great weight from the cast bodywork. So it doesn't seem to be too much of a problem for it at all. So I think we've got to take some of that power out, especially if she begins to descend the other side. I think what we'll do is we'll bring it to a gentle stop there. Let's see how she does it backing up from a standing start on the incline. Pretty good. Tiniest of hum from the motor. So let's give it a little bit more power. She does pick up a lot of momentum with all of this weight. You can hear that slight rattle from the models. I know I think we'll just bring it to a stop, perhaps a little bit further along, a bit premature there. There we go. So I think that was rather impressive. So I don't think she'd have any trouble going the other way around, but what I was interested in is whether one of the Hornby Railways or the Trying Hornby models will pull this collection of models up the incline. So I think I'll just dig out the converter wagon and we'll take off the Kobo and we'll see how we do with a couple of the other models, just for fun. I thought we should have a swift look at the Amalgamation leaflet of May 1965. Seems we're getting the converter wagon out. So I'm not sure whether this leaflet was given away or whether it was to purchase. There's no pricing on it. But let's just have a swift look at page number 3 here. So there's the converter wagon. We've got Trying Hornby type coupling on one end and a Hornby Dublo type coupling on the other. So a very ingenious item. I think they may have given these away with some locomotives. There was also a horse box variation of this. And if you look slightly higher up the page here, we can see the converter rail, like I've been using on the turntable. We had a look at those a week or so back, and we can see them on the turntable today. So let's just have a swift look at the other pages whilst we're here. There aren't very many of them. So there are the models which I think we're going to be absorbed into the Trying or the new Trying Hornby range. Quite a limited number. I'm not sure how long they lasted. I don't think they're produced anymore after this period. They were just using up stocks which were remaining, I think, but I could be wrong. Lovely sort of diorama there. Those lovely Hornby Dublo stations. They did go on to produce those in Trying colours for a very, very short period of time. Mr Snooze has one on his railway. Terrific channel. You should have a look. I'll leave a link in the description box below. And he's got the Trying coloured station, a very rare item. We've got a number of other lovely things in this picture. Look at that. You've got a platform crane here. I think there's some of those Hornby Dublo models which were absorbed, and perhaps some of them which weren't shown. You've got the EMU here, very lovely model. What else do we have? We've got the diesel shunter. That's definitely one that was absorbed. I don't have one of those. I'd love to get hold of one of those. And there is that Bobo Electric, although when Trying Hornby started to sell it, I don't think it looked quite like this. I don't know whether they ever sold this under their badge, maybe just a rebadged box perhaps. Back page of this is quite interesting because it's got the very beginnings of the, not the NATO range which was already running, but what would turn out to be battle space. We've got these items which don't have the branding on them yet, so perhaps just development models. You can see that hasn't got any framework on it, that aircraft launcher. It's all solid, no branding on the side of the battle space Ginty. But quite an interesting leaflet. But I think that's a Terence Cuneo image on the front there. Fairly sure it's one of his. Really lovely, stunning image. We'll put that to one side. We'll have a swift look at the converter truck. So there it is. So this one's in black. I think they're possibly in green. I think I do have another one, but I think it's in black as well. So quite hard to see in this light. Got spoked wheels, open axle boxes, and sleeved wheels. So I'm not sure why they went for that at that stage. Maybe it was easier to reuse this chassis than develop a new one to put this coupling on the back, which just seems to be screwed into the chassis. Maybe it was easier to modify this than the plastic chassis. So we'll get that on the railway in a moment or two. So we'll just pop that to one side. And here we have the Kobo. I did see this in a much earlier video. I'll leave a link to that if you want to see it in slightly more detail. We'll just have a swift look over it here. Very interesting locomotive. I don't believe this was terribly successful as a prototype. But perhaps a product of the early move over from steam to diesel. But this thing weighs nearly 600 grams. It is a terrific weight. Let's just have a look at the underneath there. So we've got to pick up from the back here, and we've got 4 traction tyres on the front. Just look at that drive gear on both ends there. Lovely simple securing screw, single securing screw there. Let's see if we can just relieve the body and the chassis, remove the body and the chassis from each other. Let's have a quick look. So it's not a fine screw, it's quite a large gauge. Let's lift that one up. Lovely washer on there as well. Let me hold those up and see if we can get some focus on there. Isn't that a lovely thing to have on a 00 scale type model? So we'll just pop that down, and then we'll just lift out the chassis on that lovely heavy bent metal frame. But look at the fineness of the wiring. I think the wiring's as it would have been. A piece of tape holding it to the bent metal chassis there, and then just look at the size of that motor and that magnet running around it. Lovely thing, the worms at either end, and that drive coming in at the top there. I don't know whether we can see that. Really is quite something in its stature. So let's just pop that down. And let's just pop this out here now and just have a quick look at the insides of that. So we've got something written in the bottom there. We've got that the right way up, we've got it the wrong way up. So I think we have Hornby Dublo, made in England, Meccano Limited. We do have some numbering, or perhaps a code number. I think that says Kobo Loco on the plastic insert there for the glazing unit. So I don't know whether we can get some focus in there. But again, that's a heavy metal chassis, body, cast in metal. We've got the glazing unit at the other end. It is quite crudely decorated, isn't it? Those decals are just about there. But look along the top, all of that vent detail, and that's all cast in metal. Along the sides, really is quite something. I think I said the other week, it's the weight of these models which really are a thing, given their size and their weight. I don't know about many contemporary models. I don't have anything really newer than the early 80s, and they certainly didn't get on for weighing anything like this. So I've just chosen these 3 models, model numbers of which I can't remember, so we'll pop them on the screen as we're having a look at them to see if they'll pull this short rake of Hornby Dublo wagons up the incline and through the point work. I think that'll present a challenge, the friction, the change of direction through the points here. Let's just have a look through there. It's by no means a straightforward path through there, and the curve just as we come up towards the cutting mat, the nice model railway feature. So we'll give this a little power and see how she does. This model does have magnet adhesion, but it does also have plated wheels. I think all of these models have plated wheels, and the Western Courier does have some traction tyres. Let's give this a go and see how we do. Not too bad so far. Struggling a little bit through that curve. I can see some wheel slip going on there. Yeah, I don't think that's going to go anywhere, is it? She's definitely slipping away there. So there was definitely some wheel slip developing as she was coming through these curves here, the friction really beginning to develop. So we've got the Western Courier on now. Very late 70s, possibly 1980. A date on the model I can't remember exactly. Let's see if she does the trick. She's got quite a bit of weight, nowhere near the weight of the Kobo. She does have two traction tyres, so let's see how we do with that. A little power, I think. Sorry about the wobbly camera there. Definitely a lot of friction at that stage there. think we've got some wheel slip. Let's go closer, see if we can hear it. But I think we're getting it to climb. Definitely a bit of wheel slip there. I think it's probably all over at that point. Let's back it off a little. No, I think that's probably as far as she's going to go. Still, an awful lot better than the Ginty managed. So the Turn the Flying Scotsman. Again, this isn't a true model. I think it was made up of a number of bits, and it does have a glowing firebox, although I don't think we'll probably get to see that run today. So it does have magnet adhesion, but it does have the chromed or the plated type wheels. Let's give this some power. A little bit of wheel slip going on there, but I think she's doing a lot better than the Western. I think she's going to do it all the way to the top there. I think she has it. Let's just take a bit of power off there. She's flying away now. I think that was pretty good. Let's just follow that around. Perhaps a little bit quick, we'll just calm that down. Again, the friction into the curves with all of those wagons is amazing. They really do pull. And then back where we started, so that was pretty good from the Flying Scotsman, but while I've been doing that, I just thought we probably should have a go with one more item. Let's see if we can unhook this. This is never going to work one-handed, is it? So let's see if we can do that. There we go. Whip off this Flying Scotsman. I think I forgot to point out that she's missing some of the detailing around the valve gear, which has broken off when we saw her the other week. I forgot to mention that. So let's just pop that back on. And I think we're, sorry, I'm pointing the camera down there. I think we're going to give this Coco a go. Let's get this out of the box. So we had an earlier model of this, which I don't think would pull it up the incline. So R.2233. I think, or 751. Again, I can't remember the model numbers, but I'll put the correct one in the corner of the screen. So this is an early 70s one, so it definitely has the magnet adhesion in here. So we've got definite help there, and we've got the pickups here, and it's not that heavy. It's fairly light, but the magnet adhesion is seriously strong in this model. So let's give this one a go and see how it does. So see if I can get this on the rails one-handed. Otherwise, we'll cut away. So let's just take this lot back a little bit. And we're on there. We're on there. I don't know whether you can hear this. You can't quite see. There's quite a stick to the track there. So let's give that a go. Let's hook that up. So a bit of a noisy model, this one. Quite a rough old motor. So we'll just give this a bit of power. There she is. That's quite strong, isn't it? Let's pull that to a stop there and see if we can get that to move away on the incline. So here we go. A little wheel slip, but she's going to do it. That's a seriously powerful model. That's just down to the magnetization that Ex Hornby were using. I think that's really terrific. Well, I think that's probably it for today. Thanks again for watching. Again, an unusual sort of video. If you have a look back again next time, we'll have something else interesting to look at. Goodbye now.